So that is so far about the background, a brief background enough for you to know, so that when people ask you, hey, what is 黄极进士? You'll be able to explain the background straight away. Simple. Now let's move on to module 2. 黄极进士. What's the relationship between 黄极进士 and the earlier heaven 8 trigram? Now this diagram here, this one, tell me, this arrangement, is it the earlier heaven 8 trigram or a later heaven 8 trigram arrangement? Type in the chat box. Thank you, Elaine. Is earlier heaven. Chris, thank you. Early. All right, early. Okay, all say EH. Okay, good, good. So you all know this is earlier heaven 8 trigram arrangement. Yeah. Okay, so earlier heaven 8 trigram, is there any direction north, south, east, west? No. Okay, very good. No. So earlier heaven, no direction one, no north, south, east, west. Okay, very good. Now, if you refer to 黄极进士 text, I can tell you, if you read the 黄极进士 book, you must prepare a pail beside you because you will vomit blood. Okay, but never mind. I've done all the heavy lifting for you, so today you no need the pail. Okay, just stay with me. Listen to me with an open mind, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so if you read the book, there is such a phrase in the 黄极进士 classic books. It says, number 1, I show you part 1 of the verse. Part 1 of the verse says, 天之变是乾对离震, meaning, loosely translated, heaven becomes 4, 乾对离震. And then part 2, it says this, 地之变是即坤艮坎巽. Or loosely translated, earth becomes 4, 坤艮坎巽. Anyone know what this means? Anyone know what this means? These two verse means, part 1 and part 2 means, this is 天之变是, and then later on will be 地之变是. Anyone knows? Not to worry. Okay, not to worry. Don't know, it's never mind, because when I read that time, I also don't really understand what it means lah. Alan said expanded from heaven qua. Okay, expanded from heaven qua. Very good. Kelvin say 阳错转阴右转. Wow, what is that? 阳左转阴右转. Okay. All right. I understand now. Okay, 阳左转阴右转. Okay. True also. Okay, but let me give you a even simpler explanation. Darren said it means heaven and earth need these 4 trigrams to form the basis. Yes, true. Now let me show you a simpler version straight away for those who have some basic level understanding of 易经 trigram, 阴阳, okay, 思想, all these things, you straight away will understand these 2 phrases. Okay, I'm going to share with you now. Everyone knows this model. Type a yes in the chat box if you know this model, seen this model, fully understand this model. Yes, Kelvin, thank you. Philip, thank you. This is, I think, the very most basic thing, the basic model that you will be exposed to most of the time when you learn metaphysics. Yes, but a lot of time, teachers will just skim through, say, okay, this is the one, 太极生两仪，两仪生四象，四象生八卦, so be it. Okay, but actually embedded inside there are a lot of information that not many masters want to share. Okay, so I think it's good that today you can learn something different from here. It means like this. 天之变是地之变是 means this is exactly the model, and this model I think everybody know how it evolved, how it goes up from 无极 to become 太极，太极生两仪，两仪生四象，四象生八卦，八卦就生万物。This is a common phrase that you hear lah. Okay, now the thing is, it all branches out from this 太极 into yang and yin. Yang means 天，地 means 阴卦 means 地. And then when you draw this line here, it means these four have to come from this heaven called 天. And these 4 on the right will have to come from this 地. That's why it's called 天之变是，地之变是。天之变是 means 乾对离震. Let me clear away the yin. 乾对离震. OK，地这边是指坤艮坎巽，坤艮坎巽。Basically, this is about it. Oh, it took me quite a while to really decipher what it really means by 天这边是地这边是 but it's worthwhile deciphering this because it forms the basis for the structure of 黄极进士. Okay, now that we know this, it also allows us to know the numbering system. I won't be covering that. What it means by numbering system. It basically means the number representation of each of the trigram from number 1 to number 8. Like for example, 1 means Qian, 8 means Kun, and anything in between, just do the reference. Okay, next. How is it arranged? Remember just now I show you that arrangement and asked you whether it's earlier heaven or later heaven. You all straight away can answer me with accuracy. It is earlier heaven 8 trigram. Now, how do we know this is the arrangement? It's because of this 说卦传。天地定位，三者通气，雷风相搏，水火不相涉. From this verse, right, our 老祖宗, our ancestor know that it is formed in this way. And basically, if you see, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, like what I think one of you mentioned, Kelvin, is it? Mentioned about 阳左转，阴右转啊。Okay, so basically this is what it means by 阳左转，阴右转. If you look at the number, you know it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the yang. This portion here is the yang. 阳这边是this portion here is the 阴这边是. Okay, so it moves like that, the numbering. Okay, but this is still not there yet. This is not there yet. Because what we know is we only know the numbering system. It goes like this. 阳左转右转but energy move in this way. Energy move in this way. 数往则顺，知来者逆. Meaning, even though it's this 左转1, 2, 3, 4, but energy move in this way. Going up energy is called 往. Coming down energy is called 来. Okay, 数往则顺，知来者逆. So you don't have to really fully understand what it means, but you just know that energy somehow will just run like that, go up and then come down. This is the universal principle. Right? So from here, I just stop here just enough for you to know that it relates back to 黄极进士. And I'm not going into the details anymore. And then next thing here is that now there are 8 trigrams. And for those who are not very conversant with the 8 trigram, here is a simple table. This table shows the first 4 hexagram, what it can represent. Because later on, you still need to refer back to this. Say, oh, if it's 水火既济, what can it represent? Then you can refer back to this simple table. This is the first 4 trigram. This is the next 4 trigram. Anyone had any problem with this profiling system? I call this profiling system because with this system, we're able to look at anything in this world right now and then profile them into one trigram, one of those trigrams. So anyone has any difficulties with this profiling? I hope not. Okay, I hope not. All right, so for those who want to really learn more and have one reference book with you, you can grab hold of this ebook, digital book called the Universal Profiling System. Scan this QR code to go to that web page, right? And then you can grab it. Okay, so you can get this. But today I'm not selling this. I'm just telling you it's available, right? Okay, next. We know about, just now we show you about that model, right?太极生两仪，两仪生四象，四象生八卦, right? So basically, if you want to look at another model, it simply means like this, yin yang, and then you branch out into 2 arrangement, one heaven, earlier heaven, one later heaven, and then we combine them together. You have this sequence, okay? This sequence, and this is called in the textbook called 序卦传. So for those who learn AOM from me, out of maneuvering, you know how it being arranged on that sequence. But today we are not talking about that sequence. Today we're going to talk about a totally different sequence. We call it the 大乘图. Now there's something called a 大乘图, there's something called a 小乘图. Now I'm not going to go into the 小乘图 because it is another big topic by itself. So to learn 黄极进士, you must know what is that 大乘图. Okay, and 大乘图 basically is like that. It is the extrapolation of earlier heaven 8 trigram. The arrangement here, this is the earlier heaven 8 trigram, all right, when you expand it out, it becomes the 大乘图. Okay, and it becomes 大乘图. This is how it looks like. This is exactly the template that you can find on the typical 罗盘. Have you seen that 罗盘? The outer ring, most of the time is the outer ring, the most outer ring, the 64 hexagram. This is the arrangement. Okay, this is the arrangement. If you have 罗盘, you're not sure what is that, you take a look and compare. This is the arrangement. Okay, so how do we expand from earlier heaven 8 trigram to become this big ring here that is being used in the 罗盘? Now, listen to me carefully. Once you know the trick, it is very easy to remember. In fact, you don't even need to memorize, because if you know the trick, you know how to map it out in the shortest possible time. Okay, so let's move on. Now, let's take to learn anything massive and messy. The best way to learn is to chop it up into chunk by chunk, and then you learn it chunk by chunk. Okay, so right now we're going to chop it up into one small chunk, right? One small chunk, and let's say we study this set first. This set, okay, this set of outer hexagram. And this set of outer hexagram, I brought it up. This is the one. I brought it up. Okay, I brought it up. And this one, you'll notice it is actually an expanded version of 乾卦 here. You find that the bottom row here, okay, the bottom here is the 乾卦. That means the basis that it sits on is 乾卦. Okay, it's 乾卦. And then, let me clear the ink. The top trigram is just permutation of the 8 trigram. So the order of the permutation, very easy. Just follow back that number ordering. Remember, just now we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You just do that. Okay, just do that. And then once you are done with here, you move on to the second set, 对卦, which is another set of 8. Okay, another set of 8. And then the bottom is 对卦. Right, bottom is 对卦all the way, 对卦. And then on top, you just copy this and paste on top. So here's 乾卦 all the way to 坤卦. And then once you've done this, you move on to the third set, which is somewhere here, and you do the same thing. So the bottom trigram always sits onto the inner one, the inner template. Okay, on the inner template, the trigram. Can follow me so far? Type a yes in the chat box if you can follow me so far. Okay, good. Easy, right? Easy, right? Once you know the pattern, actually you don't have to memorize. You can map it out straight away at any time you want. All right, so this is this side here. Okay, this is this side here. Let's move on to the other side. This side, we move on to the other side. Okay, here, same thing. It will be, the base will be this one, 巽卦. The base will be 巽卦. And then the difference here on top now is that, okay, again, you map out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and there you go. After 巽卦, then move on to 坎卦, after that 艮卦, and then ends at 坤卦. See, once you know the trick, I think I don't have to explain this slide anymore in deep detail, because you already know the pattern. Remember, 黄帝进士 basically is to learn the pattern. Find out the pattern, and you can just replicate it every time you want. Okay, all right, good. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, now you know about this circular diagram. I call that circular diagram. You know, if you've seen some books, they always say 方圆图, right? How do you type the 图? Remember, the square and round diagram. Okay, so the round diagram refers to this, the circular diagram, the 大乘图. Okay, so once we understand this, how we derive this one, we can proceed to explore HJJS. And there you go. We are done with module 2. That's fast.